What was once one turned into three, reconnecting with our family, a safe space to speak authentically. We raise our cups, unifying as three. We bring freedom in community, random thoughts and golden nugget treats. Welcome, Three of Cups community. Let's go ahead and raise the frequency.
Wow! I just want to say that you look amazing.
Thank you.
Like, oh my gosh. Glowing?
She's a supporter.
Girl, you transformed and changed.
She's being nice.
You're doing so good. Like, seriously. Seriously. I just don't understand.
What's happening?
I just don't understand why you've changed so much.
Okay, let's get into it. So, experiencing a situation or a connection where you are friends, or maybe even in an intimate connection, or a familial connection, where you start to begin to change as a person from the version that you showed up as. You begin to revert to a version of you that is more empowered. You start to revert to a version of you that stands up for yourself more. You revert to a version of you that also originates from a version of you used to be at maybe a younger point in life that just happened to be more explorative and adventurous. You happen to transition into a version of yourself where your confidence is unshaken, where you know yourself well enough to where that nobody is going to be able to hinder that, no matter what opinions they state to you about their personal position of insecurity that they have while they're around you. I could go on. The list is long, but we'll stop there. When you're in connections in general, this is for every single connection out there, no matter how close they are to you, if you have someone that's approaching you through addressing you in a way that's not supportive of the being you're choosing to build yourself up into, and they're choosing to address you in a sense where they're making you feel like you're not giving them space to feel secure within themselves while you're stepping into the person you are while you're in a relationship with them, you've outgrown the connection. Because the connection's not growing with you. In fact, they're reacting to your growth. And instead of being aware of their own reaction to your own personal growth, they'd rather blame you for them feeling insecure. As you can see within the beginning of this example of the covert passiveness that shows up through her approach, while at the same time she did it after praising her, which is normally a gateway most people see as making entrance into how do I say this? A gateway into them thinking they can welcome themselves into imposing their own position of insecurity and opinion onto you because of how insecure they feel the moment you sit next to them, the moment you stand next to them, the moment you decide you're owning your position about whatever you think, say, or do, even if it's in opposition or conflict to whatever they think or believe or say or do for themselves, because you're not looking to be a unit of the same exact pattern, but a person who operates in this energy where they're covertly approaching you to attack you for being an independent person within a connection you share with them. They're looking to be the same pattern. This person operating in a space of a covert approach is not used to a person learning how to stand in their own personal space of self-assurance, self-confidence, and self-awareness, where they don't need to be and act the same as somebody else to make them feel comfortable. You've outgrown the connection. And some of you may even wonder, well, I want to keep the connection in my life. Well, if you want to keep the connection in your life, just understand that what you're signing up for is more covert targets being thrown at you. It's practically target practice every time you show up. And then you have nobody to blame but yourself the more you keep showing back up and conversating with people that covertly target you every time they see you growing in a completely different way, and blaming you for their insecurities, blaming you for showing up in a way that makes them feel small or makes them feel like they're taking a back seat in the connection, or making them feel like you're not making them feel like they have an equal ground to stand on in the relationship or connection. See, when you are in connections that operate from a space of not holding space for themselves, you're going to consistently experience someone trying to tell you to tone it down because they don't know how to handle allowing you to take up your own space while you're in a connection with them, especially if you're a strong personality. If you're a strong personality that owns their position of who they are, and you are just going about your business, being who you are, and you know who you are, I'm just saying that any reaction that is in relation to covertly targeting you is a person that isn't giving themselves permission to hold their own space for themselves while they're sharing a connection with you. If anything, what's happening is their psychological attempts through this covert approach to get you to begin to live for what they need or want, and for what they want you to compensate for themselves that they're not giving to themselves emotionally and mentally, because they're seeing you step into your personal state of confidence and position for how you're going to be showing up in your own personal world and reality for yourself, not for them and you, for yourself, because you're not living for them, you're living for you, as they should be living for themselves. When a person is in a connection and only one person is working on themselves and growing for their own personal well-being and growth, and they're striving to be better, and the other person in the connection is not working on themselves, this is a guaranteed outcome almost every single time. One party is going to covertly make you feel bad for how you're stepping into your position of confidence and personal power, and they may even call it ego. They may even call it you being full of yourself. They may even call it you think the world revolves around you. If anything, what you should do is affirm and assure them that yes, this is my ego and me stepping into it, and yes, this is me stepping into my confidence, and yes, my reality is surrounded by the world I create. So yeah, this is me making my reality about myself, and I happen to be sharing my experience with you. Yeah, I am doing that. And yeah, I am learning to work with my ego, not so that it takes over, but I'm working with it in a way where it allows me to know with confidence that this is who I'm choosing to be, and I'm going to continue operating in this, and I'm not going to let you shame me for choosing to operate in this, regardless how insecure it makes you feel that I'm owning and standing in this. I choose to be self-aware of my ego when I can see I need to check myself, but that's my call, not yours. I choose that, not you. I choose to see that, not you. You are in a position where you can share your position of opinion to a certain degree, but not to a degree of expectation where you expect me to change something that I may not see anything wrong with. Because once again, this is my reality, and the only reason I happen to be open to an opinion you share is just because we happen to be in some sort of a connection where I'm sharing that sacred space with you, not to be nagged at, nitpicked at, and psychologically targeted at because of your own insecurities of how I'm deciding to show up for myself, but because I'm choosing to share a sacred space where I'm assuming we're both trying to grow together while we're respecting each other's space of personal growth, where we're completely aware that self-accountability is key for ourselves and for a connection, that we'll know when to back off and respect each other's space when there's an agreement to disagree, and when things don't actually need to be said at all, and that we've said enough. But that's a side tangent. Covert approaches to people that start to develop strong personalities through stepping into versions of themselves that allow them to own their character in a completely different way, and allows them to show up in the world the way that they feel drawn to, are treated like target practices for people who begin to feel insecure in the relationship and then begin victimizing themselves, to where they run to other people to talk and gossip about the very person that's been working on themselves this whole time, to step into the new character they've been working on this entire time. And what's always left out during this period of transition and process and targeting that happens, which is normally generalized into what most people call a smearing campaign, that begins behind the back of the person that's showing up in this way, behind the back of the very person that's been working on themselves this whole time and learning to show up in a different way for themselves as they're bettering themselves personally for themselves. What's commonly